Is that cranberry sauce?
Yeah.
Oh, painting
Classic
pictures.
Nice. The whole wall moves. Yeah.
This is not a test.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Chilling here today with comic Mike Figs. What up?
Yo, Vinny, happy to be here.
And the hilarious Mike Feeney,
What's up?
comic and just really cool white guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't get the hilarious comic intro like Figs did, but I did. I do like good guy, you know. But also, yeah, Mike.
Henchman.
Mike Fit. Like, you know, we both had Mike Feeney, Mike Figs. Look at that, you know.
Fresh out of the barber shop.
Yeah.
Fresh,
Yeah.
baby.
And he had to go back.
I went back. I broke the cardinal sin.
You were a
going
Karen.
back to the thing. Dude.
Your wife told you.
But because it's like, because she knew I'd be, it wasn't even that she was like, it looks bad. She did say that, but she would also, she just knows I would have been miserable. And I think I had 4 shows that night. So it's like, you can't, if you don't feel confident on stage or you just feel, if I saw one person looking at my hair, like it would just
throw your rhythm off.
Yeah. Even if they were like, he's got great hair, I still would be, it would just, yeah, it would mess me up. So
Are you like a neighborhood, like just old guy Russian barbershop?
No,
or
dude.
is it like a legit?
I'm a
legit
salon,
Dominican man.
So no, I'm a salon boy.
Nice.
Oh,
Because
that's gay.
I grew up, my mom like worked in hair salons growing up. So that's like, I went to a barbershop twice in my life and it was the 2 single worst haircuts in my life. I have very thick hair. They got to use layering scissors. It's a whole thing.
Well, now I have thick hair too. Now they're getting more advanced though, because like Instagram, like when we were younger, it was just like, let me get a 2 on top, and fade.
Yeah.
But now kids want the broccoli cut.
Yeah.
They want all that shit.
Yeah.
So you know, the Staten Island barbers had to learn how to use the scissors.
Yeah. And I was been going to the same.
But on the same time, the salon ladies don't know how to give fades. So you need both.
True.
You need both now.
It's true. Yeah, I go to one part for my haircut and then to the other. What I like about the salon is you go there, it's always like a beautiful woman who like washes your hair. They'll give you wine while you wait. You get objectified by the gay guys. You're like, everything is like, you know, it's a good confidence.
You must have been a king, like a little prince walking around.
Oh yeah, always.
They must have loved.
But I was going to the same place for like 12 years, and then I moved, and so I was like, let me try out this other place. And the guy messed it up, and I was just telling you, because you feel so powerless when you're in that chair where they start telling you how good it looks, and you're like, I don't believe
you feel them cutting too much.
Yes.
And you're like, nah.
Yeah, I literally was like, leave it long on top, and he just kept cutting and cutting and cutting, and then he cut so much, and then they show you the back, and you're like, I don't know, I don't know what it looks, you know, it's like fine, you know. But it was very disappointing, and I had to go back because here's the other thing. They were like, just go back to your original person who does your hair. And I go, I can't show up with my haircut because she's gonna be like, why the you're cheating. So I was like, I either wait like 6 weeks for this to grow out and look like an idiot for 6 weeks, or I just go back to the person that fucked it up and be like, try not to fuck it up.
So he can't smell him on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty picky with my hair. I have the most like horrible story about when we filmed Jersey Shore, when I went to the barbershop, and you know, at that point I'd been like a guy that goes to my guy on Staten Island. He gives me the certain fade, he does it a certain way.
Yeah.
And the producers, they don't really understand. They're just like, go to any barbershop and you pay $10 and you get the same haircut. So they just like cleared like the most random barbershop. And I sit in the chair, and there was 2 barbers, right? And there's like a bunch of us that had to go. And I sit in the chair, and the guys, I'm like, how long you been cutting hair for? He said 1 year.
Bad. Already a bad sign.
Red flag, you know. Now at the time, I'm not gonna like, I'm on TV. There's cameras pointed at me. I'm not gonna like run out and make the guy feel bad, you know. So I get the haircut, jacks me up, and then I get in the car afterwards. And in the car, now we're rolling 24/7.
Yeah.
So like, you know, so in the car, I'm like, just like, fuck. I'm like, look at that line. Like I'm pissed, you know. But they aired that. So even though I kept it from him in the moment, it was a storyline on the show, and I was like a villain for like ruining these guys like mopping
he
floors.
He signed a release form.
Oh yeah.
He was excited. The family gathered
his
around.
His whole career was gonna take off.
But isn't it
you were nice to his face, so he's like, this is great.
Yeah. Isn't it his fault a little bit though? Like, you say like, why are you going to cut me with 4 cameras watching you, and you've only been doing it a year?
I'll tell you,
I'm not going to do
a
stand-up special right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's the producer's fault for putting him in that, because anybody's like, any barber's gonna be like, yeah, give me this opportunity. This could, and he probably thinks he's good, but I think that's the producer.
They also didn't have to make a storyline out of my reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm like, oh, this is not going to be on TV. I'm just pissed about having a line in my head, but it became a whole fucking thing.
What were you trying to get? Like, what kind of hairdo were you trying to get?
Just like like it was just short on top and a skin fade.
And what did he do? Did he how did he fuck it up?
Dude, a year is not like a fade should look like you don't even see where the fuck it's happening.
It's
sort of gradients.
Yeah.
Fade is like a fade. I never really thought of it.
You came up with another word. You're like, it's like a gradient. It blends.
Yeah. So
well,
you went.
I want to see it. I wish you had a photo. Pull it up.
People say that. And by the way, like this pod keeps like coming on a day earlier in the week when I don't get a haircut.
Yeah.
And I look all scruffy and shit. I'm wearing a hat. I got to do something about, because I'm not going to get a haircut. I mean, I love
Feeney, how often do you get a haircut? What the? I get.
You didn't get it. He's like, I got one for you. I get one like once a week usually, but if I don't have anything to film for, well, you go to salon. So what do you go like once every
six
weeks?
months? 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 to 7 weeks.
What happens to what happens?
Because here's the thing. This gets all it starts to get puffy and helmety, and then I could just try and there's like I'll also say this. I don't think I've liked a single haircut I've ever gotten in my life immediately after I left. It takes like 4 days to a week for me to be like, all right, you know what I mean? Like it has to like grow in, my hair has to come in a little more.
I think I'm the opposite. I get the haircut, I'm like, this is fresh, and then the next day I'm like, what did? I have an afro. Yeah,
I never have the courage to speak up to the barber. To tell them what to do. So I started cutting my own hair. So if you look closely, one side is faded well, and the other side is not faded that well.
Yeah,
it's a little bit.
Dude, you doing that yourself?
Good,
but I do this myself. I mean, I've been doing it for like 6 years.
You should have went to Figs.
Yeah,
I'll get up, baby. But I
do you layer?
Yeah,
I can't do scissor work. I just do this.
At the top.
I grab some of my fingers and I just kind of, dude, it takes days. So like I'll like coif my hair up and there'll be a huge part sticking, so I'll clip it. Then the next day maybe I do a different hairstyle and I'll notice that it's a little bit out. And I'll clip that. But the razor works easy.
What does the salon charge?
Yeah, good question.
What do you guys think it charges?
So like barbers get all cocky when they go to a salon. And like they like have the title about it. They're giving like $150 haircuts. Because at a salon, women have spent so much money on their hair. It's like $300, $400. Yeah. But when are they going? Like once every couple months?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the barber wants to charge the same thing because he's in a salon. I'm like, bro, I'm going to be back here next week. I can't pay that much. So $100.
Do you get a wash?
They all come with washes. Well, then I'm not paying extra for the wash.
$76.
Wow, this is great. This is because I'm in Queens, baby. I'm this
a little
$42 for the good one, and the one I went to that was shittier, $33.
Not bad.
And that was like the best rated one where I live too. So I'm like, and the one I go to, the good one is like all like good products and stuff like that. Yeah,
with the nice head massage.
Yeah, I have a nice. She's from Montenegro. She's like a 50-something-year-old lady that's just knows how to clip it up.
That's
man.
insane.
Yeah,
dude, my shit is barbers are so cocky now. They go by the hour now. So
by the hour.
Yeah, so it's like this is gonna be an hour, so they charge me $100.
I will say one
haircut is $100 for me.
That's insane.
And sometimes I go like 3 times a week if I'm like filming and shit.
It's crazy.
Dude, if I learn how to cut,
especially because your hair is short, like you don't have like long hair.
Like, go by the hour, daddy.
But how long could it take to be like, zzz, zzz, you know what I mean? It feels like it'd be 15 minutes.
No, because they did this thing where they like fade the hair.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's a fade. So it's a gradient almost. Yeah.
It starts off light and then it gets more blown as it goes on.
Dude. Did they do like the shave and all that stuff too?
I get the towel.
Yeah.
And then here's the trick that barbers started doing, because haircuts should be like $40 or whatever, you know? But they charge you for the beard like it's another haircut.
Yeah, scoundrels, dude.
So they'll be like, oh, the haircut's this, but then it's like the add-on is like a whole other thing, but it's really not. The beard should be like $10 more.
Yeah.
It is taking a little more time and they have to shape it up and shit, but not a whole other $50, you know.
I did go to a place that like they gave you like whiskey or whatever while you're there. It's like, but that's like another thing that just it's just slow and drag the
Gimmick.
process
They
out.
want to make these like gentlemen clubs.
That's like
and
the
stuff.
yeah.
Leather couches.
Like a Brooklyn kind of.
It was in like the bar was like one of those hollowed out globes that they like
Jesus.
like a wooden hollowed out. Globe. Of course, it was in Brooklyn. It was in Dumbo. You know.
They were an apron.
Exactly.
Tattoos.
Like leather aprons. You know what I mean? Like, like butchers.
Yeah. Your barber looks like Christian Grey.
Awful.
He's like with leather gloves on and shit.
It's brutal, dude.
All right. Well, we look good, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty
And,
good.
I'm all right now.
And just hot off the presses, we were going to react to this plane crash that just happened. What is going on lately? We have another plane crash, Delta, and everyone survived with this one.
That's what's impressive.
It's impressive, and I'm like this is the first one we could like look at and like ask people like what's going on here, because usually you can't.
There's definitely gonna be footage that comes out about it. I mean, this is so new. This is like an hour.
Tim one.
Yeah, I want to see the inside.
Bro. Tim Dillon
getting paid.
just put up a video.
I want to see people just.
I know, right? Because they usually don't have to pay the people. There's no survivors.
Paid,
so by the way, they're in like at least like a couple inches of snow too. So
there was ice and snow. I'm assuming they landed, but then shit went awry
hit
on
a bank and flipped or something.
Yeah.
The wheels are still there. Usually it feels like that whole back of that plane
wing
is crazy though.
How did it end up? You were saying that you would think that there's a video, but for some reason there's like no videos of these things lately. Even that one that happened with the helicopter, like we're looking at one that looks like
from a mile.
Yeah,
like,
UFO sighting.
There'll eventually be one because all of the airport towers and all that, they all have cameras everywhere. So there's going to be some footage of it.
They made in 1800s.
Yeah,
the worst cameras.
And I'm sure there's. I mean, this is them climbing out is so nuts.
That guy's smiling.
If I was on the ground, I'm terrified of shit in the air. If I made it on the ground, I'd have a better time coping with like, oh shit, like,
dude, I don't
going upside down.
I don't know, man. There's that. Where was that one? Was that in like the Philippines? The one that was like last month where they landed and then they just didn't stop and they went right into the wall.
I wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, you already unbuckled your seatbelt.
On the ground. Right?
No, that was China. That was China. I think that was a takeoff.
Yeah, it was the Great Wall.
Yeah.
Boy, did it retain? But it was brutal, dude. The way they just slammed. That shit. And I also like, that was one of those videos. They do this now, at least with this, you're like, everyone survived. But like with that China video, I didn't know they were like, everyone's dead. And I was like, oh, what's this news story? And then I just witnessed. And I was like, why did you show? Like, there should have been like, do you want to see death?
Yeah.
Do you want to see 150 people die?
Yeah. What did Whitney Cummings say? But the new Delta One lounges are 5-star. These aren't really Delta. I don't get that. They're not Delta planes. They like little airlines like license the name Delta.
Yeah.
And I guess they pay for their
little
gas
like
or
puddle
something.
jumpers.
Yeah. That's like, and it's like, this is operated by R2D2
airlines. Yeah. Well, I hate those because I'm tall enough to where my hair is literally touching the roof when I walk
those
in.
Little ones are...
And you can't, and the overhead space is this. So all of your normal bags are like, they don't count. It's,
I've always had, do you ever have a fear of flying or no?
Kind of. Not really. It's when you transfer on those little ones.
It's when you're upside down on the run.
It's when you're fucking like,
I don't feel comfortable about this.
I went on one, it was American Eagle airline. I was like, I'm dying.
Like clothing store in the Staten Island Mall?
Yeah. It was like a transfer somewhere. I had a layover.
Aeropostale airline too.
Yeah. I was like, I'm fucked. I was like, I'm gonna die.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
I've had like an irrational safety of being on planes. I've never felt, even when there's been a couple times where it's been so violent where I go, I think this is the end. But there's something freeing about being like, I have no control over this. And it is like, I'm out. Like I've never had the panic of it.
It's like, it's not my job.
Yeah, and it's good to go down being like, wasn't me. Right. You know what I mean? Like, not my fault. Wouldn't it be nice to die knowing it's not your fault?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how I'm gonna die. I don't think I'm gonna fucking
depends.
Depends on your eating habits going forward. That could be a self-inflicted wound, so to speak.
I'm thinking of like piloting things and stuff. I'm not even thinking about the beaties, but the beaties. The beaties is gonna catch up. I completely disregarded that.
Yeah.
I was thinking travel, but
I don't get it because I've always had a fear of flying, and like it is a crazy thought that so many people are okay, like, and I'm the only one.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you guys not
Do you medicate?
experiencing this whole no.
Nothing to like take the edge off?
Nah, but like, isn't it so unnatural that we're in the sky? Like, flying is relatively new to like human evolution.
Yeah.
So it's like, how was everyone so comfortable up there reading the newspaper?
I guess the stats. You know, you
having
look at the
coffee.
stats and you don't
That's
see people
true.
dying a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone's, you know,
Yeah.
like my mom.
But
will
your
never
like
get on a flight,
anxiety
but-
brain, monkey brain doesn't like get impressed by that. You know what I mean? So you would think that everyone would be more like me, where they're like, "What the fuck? This is crazy."
Yeah.
I do have a thing where every time I'm about to get on the airplane, right as I'm walking through the doors, I like touch the side of the plane. So I
See?
think that's kind of what saved me all this time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
hate
can't.
that
These
shit.
people didn't do that.
Like a high
Unfortunately.
schooler when you touch
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah,
of it, like, you walk
yeah,
past
yeah.
the fucking-
Yeah, that's my little ritual.
I hate that shit. I hate like because you're right. The stats are there, but also we do treat it like it's crazy. Like first of all, these are like what 3 air crashes that have happened, and we're like, oh my god! But there's like a million planes like in
Yeah.
the
There's like
sky
10,000
every
that
day.
flew today.
Yeah.
Car crashes every second.
So everyone's like,
Yeah.
I'm not flying, but they're gonna drive somewhere.
Yeah.
But also, like, I hate when like you're leaving your family and stuff. They're like, have a safe flight. Like
Yeah.
do you
yeah.
say that to me every time I'm walking at 3 a.m. in Soho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more dangerous. I don't know if Soho
About
is the, I don't know if Soho is the
Yeah,
best.
Yeah.
Soho's fine. Someone's
Even
gonna kiss you. Like what's
Yeah.
gonna happen?
Someone's gonna take me
Watch out,
shopping.
you
Yeah.
might get smooched. Like that's the worst thing you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Dude.
Your credit card's the most thing that's in trouble there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's the biggest threat.
Nah, bro. The
Uh,
city is wild. There's people getting like shot in the head in Soho.
I
Like,
just, yeah.
Really?
yeah.
There's just so much of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
we don't
yeah.
really talk. You know what I mean? There's
Talk
nothing
about
about
it.
It's
I-
still.
Stats.
I mean, but then
the
everyone.
stats in Soho.
But then everybody starts shopping right after.
Yeah.
They just clean it up and just let's
There's-
go to Gucci.
There's just a different type, like on subways, it's like I don't feel safe on a subway, but I never worry
Oh,
that the
dude.
subway's going to crash. You know what I
No.
mean? I
Yes,
feel safe
yes.
for my freedom or for like my life,
Yeah.
but not that I'm like, I'm going to die in a subway crash.
Yeah.
Although I know comics that have like been in the, like that Metro North crash like 10 years ago.
Yes,
You
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan McIntosh was on that. He was
What
like
was
going
that?
to a gig.
Like an
it was
actual
like-
subway or like
Yeah, no,
Long
like the
Island
like the
Railroad?
like it was like the Metro North, yeah, like the Long Island Railroad of like Connecticut and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
And the train fully derailed. Like
Yeah.
where it like flipped over and everything. It's like nuts.
Bro, the subway at night is fucking just like the news.
Yeah.
Like you would, it's not like airplanes. It's exactly what you see on the news.
It's
I just
Like
get
this
away
will
from
probably
everyone.
never happen to you.
Yeah.
But going into a subway and a fucking guy being like, I'm gonna kill somebody tonight, like
Yeah.
literally happened to me last night.
Really?
Like the other day when I was on my
First
way up
off,
to
why are you on the subway?
because
Yeah, you
it's
gotta-
Daddy shouldn't be on the subway.
you
Bro,
got an
it's-
Uber money at this
Yeah.
point, I think.
not every single place, and it's easier and it just shoots right up there, and it's just like I don't know. Even though I have money, it's like I'm getting like $50 from New York Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I don't want to like spend
Yeah,
more on the
yeah.
Uber
100%.
to get
yeah.
the pay. I still want to be ahead of the game,
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
But no, it's fucking crazy at night. And I'm like, it's just me and this one homeless guy going off, and I'm like, what do I do right
Just
now?
walk away. I walk away from everybody. If
There's
I
nowhere-
get
you're
one
moving
red
on the
flag,
train, there's really nowhere to go.
I just get up and fucking go right through the.
through those doors.
I walk away from everybody. Yeah. The moment I see one guy a little weird,
Greg
I saw a guy
Gregg-
fall down. I walked away from him. I was like trapped. It's like Brendan Sagalow has a bit about that. It's hilarious.
What?
I don't know why I tapped. I know you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're pal.
Yeah. I think I was on the train with him. What story is this? Because I
he
was
has
on
a story where he says a person
he stole
fell down.
He stole my bit.
Your person
Yeah,
fell
yeah.
down, and it's like,
I got to make a call.
he's like, I think everything's a scam. Like
Oh,
a person
that,
fell
no,
down, and he's like, I'm not fucking falling for this trick.
Oh,
You know what I
I'll-
mean? Like,
I'll
get
tell
the fuck
you-
out of here.
I'll tell you a Brendan story that happened because him and I we were going into the city to record our podcast at the time. And it was like 11 a.m. and we were on the train in Astoria and we're coming into the city. And this guy is like walking around with a basketball and he's like pump faking it at women. And he's like, he like threw it at someone's feet and he's just like a violent guy. And then he starts like yelling at this woman and we're like, hey, yo, easy guy. Like we're just kind of whatever. And then he walks up to us and he's like, and he just starts screaming. He's like, fuck you, pussy, like all this other stuff. And Brendan has a like extra large, extra milk and sugar iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And he's screaming at Brendan and Brendan just goes, what are you going to do? Like that. And I'm like, bro, are you not familiar with what happens on Subway? Like this guy,
say one word to the
this guy could have murdered Brendan, like easily, like walked through him and then on his way to me. He was like a rabid dog. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But Brendan, that's someone who feels too safe in this city.
Greg Rigel has the funniest bit. He's like, nothing ever good comes through those doors.
Oh yeah.
It's it's like the entrance of an insane asylum.
Yes, 100%.
Just come through there.
What was that old? There was like that Dan Saint Germain used to have that bit where he was just like, I was on the subway and he heard like meow like that, and he was like, fuck, man, there's gonna be some guy who's like a cat with like little felt ears walking, and then he looked and it was like an actual cat. And it was like, that's what New York City subways do to you. It was like, I thought a little cat man was coming, you know?
No, last time I was there, literally a guy was like, he was like, I know there's homophobic motherfuckers on here. I'm a homo, and I'm gonna I feel like killing homophobics tonight.
Jeez.
Seriously.
At that moment, you just go, yes, queen. Yeah. You just start fucking sashaying away.
Start sucking his dick.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. No, yesterday on the train, I was watching this guy, and he was a crazy dude talking to himself, and he dropped something on the tracks, and he looked, and he said, fuck it, and he went down. And the moment he went down on the tracks, I was like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna walk away. So I literally
went fully down.
He went fully down, and
By the way, that's way deeper than you think.
Way deeper.
It's like 7 or 8 feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I said, I'm just walking. I don't want to even see what happens. As I was walking, some like young yuppie kid was like, dude, wait, are you okay? Like, don't do that. And I was like, that's the kid that gets killed.
Yeah.
That kid is a guy that guy goes, yeah, help me. And then drags him
But I'm
down.
glad.
And you both get hit by the fucking train.
But I'm glad people like him exist, because you ever see like some emergency shit go down and like you want to help, but like, I'm not like a helper like that.
Yeah. I'll like call 911.
Yeah. You go on your phone and start walking backwards.
Yeah.
Like Homer Simpson in the bushes. And you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Whoa, this looks like a problem.
Yeah.
No, but there are people that are like more trained or whatever.
Yes.
Like, and they like run up to people and help them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I should be like that.
I know a guy who got hit by the subway.
Really?
Jumping down into the tracks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He's somehow alive, but he like
the guy that just got pushed.
That's like that dude.
Yeah. He jumped down. It was like 3 a.m. and he was drunk and he dropped his cell phone and he looked to see if the train was. It was the one train stop where it like comes right around the corner and pulls right in. I forget where it was, but he like dropped in and then he was again. It's so much deeper down than you think, and he got his hands up and he was like pushing his hips and he got up to like his hip line and the train came in and blasted him in the hip and it threw him back onto the platform. But as he was like cartwheeling or whatever, he fucking slammed his head into one of those steel pillars that are like have the thing and he broke. I mean, just everything was broken and he never really was the same guy after that. But he was
try not to laugh.
No, it's pretty funny if you think about it. I'm laughing thinking about it. I laugh about it a lot.
And throwing around like a ping pong
You can
ball.
laugh about it because he's alive. But I haven't talked to him since. Mainly because I was like, ew, gross. You know, like he was all like weird and deformed, and you know,
he can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
Damn.
There was an accident. Remember, Pat, on the ferry, Staten Island ferry? Someone like lost their legs and shit.
Is that when it just drove into the thing? It just didn't stop.
I guess. I don't know. But it's crazy because like the ferry's so huge, and I guess you had to be right in the front. Yeah. And people do that, right? Like
Everybody loves going to the front.
They go to the front like Titanic, you know, whatever. I guess they just didn't they didn't have time to run away or something. I don't know. Yeah, because it's not like the subway where like you're trapped, like you can move around, but maybe they just thought they were pulling in. You're like, look how close we
fragile.
You ever ride the Staten Island ferry?
Oh yeah. I've done.
Really?
You've never been on Staten Island? It's also
You're missing out.
It's a fun. It's a fun cheap date too. And like the summer when it's nice, you know what I mean? Ride it around.
You're like a Kardashian right now when they went on the subway and they're like, "Look at our adventure," but like someone struggled,
and then they got right back on. Yeah.
That was like my life, was riding the Staten Island ferry.
Yeah,
I hated it.
I mean, driving to Staten Island, I feel like is the worst because it always feels like you're there, and then it just you're never there. It just feels.
Yeah, but Staten Island is a suburb, so you want to have your car. And you can get anywhere, you know what I mean? Once you're get dropped off at the ferry, you still have to like get an Uber. It doesn't drop you off at a good part of.
There's so many speed traps in Staten Island, and even like on the highway, it's crazy. Like there's just I've been popped a lot of times in Staten Island.
Oh, speaking of something like that, so I was trying to figure out where we met, and it wasn't Story Wars. We met at Tim's house.
Yes,
at the barbecue.
Yeah.
And then as we were driving home, we had a flat tire on the way home from Tim's house on the side of one of those. And bro, this guy Pat fucking sprang to action.
Yeah, he's a real
You know how
man.
to change a tire?
He's a man.
That's a
Dude,
real man.
I haven't been around someone that could do that in so long. I was a little hot.
Wow. I always worry
Do you know how
that,
to change
like,
a tire?
in theory.
In theory, I do. No, in theory, I do. And I'll get started. I'll be like, all right, I need to call a professional. 'Cause I don't know if these bolts are on tight enough.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is like I don't even forget the bolts. It's the undercarriage putting on the thing. I always feel like I'm gonna put it on the part. They're like, just put it on any metal part. I always feel like I'm gonna put it on the part of the car that you're like, oh, you
Door.
can't have it on that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it'll like go in through the car like a fucking fist. You know what I mean? Like go through my.
I never started inside the bolts. I saw Vinny looking. I was like, man, come on, give it a shot.
Yeah, glad you gave me the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah, you could pull up a YouTube tutorial real quick. But I also worried that like the donut in my car is flat. Like, how do you not know? How do you know if that's even? How often does anybody check their donut?
They don't really come with them.
Never.
anymore.
There's so many of
I
these
have a
little
Tesla, they
dumb
don't-
things in society that we're just supposed to like know.
No.
Like I just did shows in Long Island this past weekend, and I was talking to there was a group of mailmen sitting in front of me. And I was like, do people tip you sometimes on the holidays? And they were like, of course. And I was like, I said to the room, I go, I clap if you tip your mailman. Everybody clapped. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I go,
I'm so bad
I'm
at
an
that
asshole.
stuff.
I've never tipped.
Yeah.
I've
Never.
never even considered. That's like tipping a bus driver. You're like, you're a city government worker. Like, why would you tip?
All right, guys. This show is sponsored by Ali. Okay. Clean, fresh, nutritious dog food that your dogs are going to love. You guys know I am a dog lover. Obviously, the dog subject is a little touchy for me right now, but I have been a dog lover my whole life, and I've always had dogs. And what you feed them is so important. And Ali is a great company because it just makes real food, whole food that humans could eat. And there's no harmful fillers, there's no preservatives. Ali is made in U.S. kitchens, and the ingredients are carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. All right. Now, of course, this is going to help your dog overall, their health, and also for picky eaters too. You know, it's those days of going to the dog store and just getting like whack kibble off the shelves is over. All right, guys. We are totally in a new world now, and you introduce the Ali to your dog. And you even get, this is pretty cool, for any first timers out there, Ali will send you your box with 2 weeks worth of meals and guide you how to gradually switch it into the new diet. And there's all sorts of ways that you can customize your plan. It could be a full plan. It could be just a topper plan or a mixed plan, freshly baked recipes. It is awesome. Give it a try, guys. I love anything to do with making dogs happier and healthier. So give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them test a personalized meal plan with Ali. Head to ali.com/Vinny. Tell them all about your dog and use code VINNY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Vinny, VINNY, and enter code Vinny to get 60% off your first box. That's crazy. Start your dog's new year off right with Ali. You heard that, guys. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste a personalized meal plan with Ali. Head to ali.com/Vinny. Tell them all about your dog and use code Vinny to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Vinny and enter code Vinny, VINNY, to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ali. Now let's get back to the show. A family member was in the hospital recently, and like my Guido, like Italian relatives kept going to visit.
Yeah.
And one of my uncles was tipping the nurses. And I'm like, they took it?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they took it.
But even that, it's like, I almost understand that more because you're like, hey, make sure they get good help. Where I'm like, my mail, I didn't even know that was, and I guess now I'm realizing why my mail's always slow to get there. I'm like, fuck, I've had many conversations.
Packages are just fucking thrown over there.
Yeah.
Cheap bag.
mail anymore.
Exactly. The only thing that's coming in the mail is bills.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll tip Google. Gmail.
Yeah, I just tip Amazon. That's what we should tip. Anything.
Yeah. No, I have a weird complex with tipping because like I feel like anything under, this is just my own thing, but I feel like anything under $20 is like insulting.
Funny enough, that's exactly what the mailmen said is there the normal amount and the most that they expect. They go 20. A 20 is what was usually what people
just give
tip.
a little 20.
But yeah, like
Give
a $5.
$5 bill, that's like you're a peasant.
Or even worse, like a $5 Dunkin' Donut gift card.
Oh boy.
But at least that has some thought.
Does it?
Yeah, like it's for a specific thing, like $5 or $3 in cash.
$3 is
you ever been in like
$3?
You ever been in a car where you have to tip and like no one has cash and you're like, here's $3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like give it to them or run away. I'm like, I'm sorry, but what do I do? Zell you? Like you know.
What about when you get like fresh meats?
You know.
Yeah, I love to. Yeah, for sure. So what do you guys do? Like, have you ever been to like a good deli to get like meats, like maybe to get like cold cuts?
Uh-huh.
And the guy's slicing and he gives you some
Gives
meat
you
with his
beef.
hairy hand. Like, do you ever tip that guy?
No.
You're supposed to tip that guy.
There's an Italian deli
Really?
that I've gone to a lot, and only because I'm like friends with them that I'm like at this point I have to.
You throw him a couple bucks. or something.
Yeah. But I also try to like I'll like roll up.
Bro, I've never seen that. I'm from.
You never tip
I'm
the
from-
sandwich guy?
I'm
Makes
from
you a sandwich?
Italian salumeria culture.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody tip.
I tip the butchers. I tip the cold cut guys.
Yeah, you're a man of the people. But how much are you
yeah.
giving them though?
I'll give them like $5.
Oh, 5 is too
Like
much.
a fiver. or 3 or like
Like-
4, whatever singles that I have.
Yeah,
like
a couple
the singles, I'll
bucks.
be like, here's
A couple bucks. Just a nod of
A
appreciation.
little nod.
I don't know. Maybe this is me coming from.
I mean,
like,
they
my-
load my mouth with meat. Pause. But they fucking
Hey.
I'm telling I
They
walk,
deserve $3
if
for that.
if I walk in there and I
clip. Just that on
Sorry,
loop
Dad.
for 60 seconds.
No, this is like a philosophical thing because it's like I don't know. I grew up very very poor. Like I used to deliver pizza and shit like that. And I don't know. I think even back then, if someone handed me like $1,
people who deliver pizza are just like the poorest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually not.
I'm saying tip culture.
Oh,
I know-
yeah,
I know-
no, it's just funny that you're like, I grew up poor. You know, I used to.
Do you want to know?
I used to deliver pizza.
Do you want to know about the other stuff about my house, Mike? The duct tape on the bathroom.
Now we're talking.
Faucet. There we go.
There we go. All right.
But no, like even then, I'm like, if someone give me $1, it feel strange.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
dollars.
$1 is disrespectful.
Yeah.
I remember
$20.
my mom got fired from a restaurant job once because someone gave her 25 cents on like $100 bill, and they were walking away, and she took the quarter and fucking threw it, and it just she's like, to this day it pinged off the back of his head, and then the guy saw it and told the manager, and the guy was like, Debbie, and she was like, I know, and then just like walked out. But you're like, dude,
that was her moment.
25 cents.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here?
Debbie is a great waitress. That name,
yeah.
you already know what kind of waitress she was.
She ended Long Island hair salons and restaurants. I mean,
Oh,
again, it's
my
like
God.
this is my mom was a stereotype of Long Island.
You're from Long Island?
Yeah.
What part?
Way out in Center Reach, like way Suffolk County, like way
Oh, okay.
Selden.
Like, is it near
Core.
Hamptons, like up there? Or?
No, that's like when you go so far east it becomes rich again. This is like before that. This is like probably an hour from that, but it's like near Islip and all that. They called it Center Rico because it's a very large Puerto Rican population. Yeah, very Spanish.
Not the Italian Long Island.
There was no like most of Long Island is either like Italian, Jewish, or Spanish for the most part. So this was like they said like my next door neighbors were Puerto Rican, 5 kids and stuff, and then all of my other friends that I grew up with all Italian. So it was
Party hard.
Yeah.
That's how Mike was born.
Yeah, dude.
You just hear a lot of.
Do you remember? Like I don't know. Like where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up in Little Jamaica.
So you probably didn't have this, but you might have had this in Staten Island. Do you ever have like you know what a sump is?
A sump?
A sump. It's like, do you know what a sump is? It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's basically like a fenced off area. I think it's like a runoff for drainage essentially, but it looks like, think of almost like an empty pool, but it's grass and dirt and stuff like that.
Like in a field?
it's kind of in a field, but it's like fenced off because it's like the local city area where
like
it's
on
like, you're not
purpose.
supposed to go there for any. And like that's like where we would like, you know, sled down that. That was the first time I smoked weed is in that. Like I was like a drug hate. Like people would bring like couches and chilling there, like chilling in sumps. It's like a real white trash. Yeah, that or like the woods where we would build, you know, like BMX ramps and shit like that. It was
the woods.
Yeah.
We I've been hanging out in Long Island a lot lately. It's another world out there.
It's
we
different.
did I did a bar just appearance. We did Governors.
Yep.
Which was I saw you. That's where you just went, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do with them? Like is it Italian when you go, or it was pretty mixed when I went actually, but there were a lot of Italians.
Yeah, I know I totally understand why people are like I hate it, you know, but like Long Island, Boston, New Jersey, Philly, I feel very comfortable because all those audiences are the same, which is basically like you have to go in and like punch them in the throat and then they fucking love you. Like you can if you just go on stage and start doing your act.
That's what I was doing.
The pizzeria. No, they have to be fucking told to shut the fuck up and be trash. They want it because they want to know you're in power. You know what I mean? Like they just it's all such a ball busting culture, all of them. So it's like that's and so I kind of love that. Like someone will chirp up and then you just fucking annihilate them and then
everyone listens to you.
Dude, I got heckled. I did an hour. I got heckled at 59 minutes. I was like, I almost made it was the longest I ever got along. And this drunk woman started being like, because I said my friends are these like you know these dumb Italian guys from Long Island. She's like, what'd you say about Italian? She was like drinking grappa. She was fucking hammered. Yeah, dude. And then she was telling me she was bragging about how much, but she was bragging about how much grappa she was drinking. And I was like, you're gonna be fun driving home on Sunrise, just fucking playing bumper cars on the highway, you dumb bitch. Like you just like and then they're like, yeah. I got on stage and people were like, that last part, you know? Like, yeah.
I thought you were gay for 58 minutes.
Yeah.
You brought down a hammer.
Yeah, someone told me I went too easy on her. I was like, I told her she's gonna die. I hope she died in a drinking and driving accident.
That's like when I post like if I post like a little heckle clip, like every comment's like, you let that guy do that? I'm like, what do you want? You want to fucking you're supposed to punch him in the face?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to just like be funny and then that's it, you know? But
that was Long Beach was
wild. Yeah, because for me too, it's like not it's Long Island, but also people have never been to a comedy club.
Yes,
and just young. It was like is that you?
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
And Long Beach is also one of the last pockets where it still also can be very Irish. It's like there's
a lot of Irish people in Long Beach. Yeah, a lot of that whole strip.
Yeah,
and we were there.
Place is a different world. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
Long Beach is so old and so Irish. There was a place. I think it still exists, and it's crazy. The name of it is called Shines, which is like
I know that place. It's hard. It's
what
crazy.
Is it, like a bar?
It's just a popular bar.
Yeah, an insane name for a bar.
Horrible. Yeah, horrible name.
But dude, they would they have all these firemen all these Irish firemen drink there, and they would be so loaded. There would be fires happening, and they wouldn't even leave the bar to get to them. But the famous line was always like, "We never lost a foundation." So it's like the whole place would burn down, but they're like, "We got there by the time and saved the time to save the foundation."
Yeah. That whole area is wild. I worked at a place called Anchor Tavern.
Oh yeah,
it closed down and whatever. We would get. I was a waiter there during the pandemic, off the books
in Long Island.
In Long Island, and then
on Long Island.
On Long Island.
Oh,
you just learned about this.
You want to be in it? Dig a fucking hole. All right. You know?
Yeah, but you don't say that for Manhattan or Staten Island. We say in Staten Island.
But you say on. You go. You're on the island of Hawaii. You don't say it. You don't say in.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I worked at this place, and it was a kitchen, literally kitchen nightmare. Like Gordon Ramsay could have walked in any minute. We would get desserts in the basement, and you had to put on rain boots because of the tide or whatever. It would always flood. The whole fucking restaurant smelled like butt ass. Mm-hmm. They would start cooking right away to get the smell of food in there because it just smelled like fucking
low tide.
Like low tide.
Oh yeah.
We would put rain boots on. You'd be like, "Hey, can I get the cheesecake?" I'm like, "Sure." I'd be like, "All right, let me get the cheesecake." I put these rain boots on, go into the basement, grab the cheesecake, mold, asbestos, crazy. People were hammered. An Elvis impersonator would come, and the place would get packed. and it would crush. The place was making money. Wild.
Yeah, people just want to party.
They just want to party.
There's so
They're all
many
dead now.
places when you see
Yeah.
when you see some of these kitchen setups, even in some like comedy clubs, you like on like some road clubs, you go in there and you go,
Oh.
you go to put your coat down in the back, you go, if anybody, it's like a 15-year-old over like the worst looking fryer, and the whole room is eating. You're just going, oh, there's so many people.
Except the stand.
The stand is very
Have a
good.
stand.
Sellers-
Stand makes me uncomfortable how professional it is. I'm like, why are there people in chef hats?
Yeah.
Why is there a giant salmon, swordfish
Yeah.
in the back
Bone
here?
marrow on the
I'm like
plate?
thinking about my set. I'm like fucking running into a swordfish.
Yeah.
I was my first job. I was 13. I was a busboy in Staten Island, and I'm not gonna say the place, but it was a little local like neighborhood thing, and I just wanted to get a job. I thought I lasted like 3 weeks, but as soon as I like walked in there and shit, bro, they were like the girls were like flashing, and the bartenders, like people used to like fuck in the back and shit. Like
Ugh.
it was it was a lot to see for like a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
It was
Damn.
But I think the chef was like on acid every night. Like it was crazy.
It's like there is like I worked at a bunch of restaurants, like anywhere all the way from like I worked at like Cipriani catering all the way down to like an Applebee's, and the drug dens that are, I mean, especially an Applebee's, because
Bro.
you're like your busser, your runner, your server, you're all of that.
Bro.
And the amount of drugs I saw in that Applebee's is the crazy. Like to this day,
Applebee's.
it was Applebee's.
Applebee's. My first job was Applebee's.
Yeah.
What they do shit in the back?
Oh, all
Dude,
the
I mean-
coke in the bathrooms, like
Yeah.
mushrooms, like the amount of weed. I mean, weed is like that's like they walk in high. You know what I mean?
it's like waiting. You ever see that movie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
it's
Like waiting is so good, but not even like it's
It's
even
worse.
It's even worse.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like it's kind of like sadder and seedier for sure.
Yeah.
But there was just so many times where, and also like the clientele at Applebee's, like I worked at one that was right across the street from a movie theater, and they were doing two for 20. So
Oh,
it'd be
gosh.
an appetizer and 2 entrees and 2 movie tickets for
Oh.
$20. And it would always be teenagers, and you would get tipped like 33 cents, if
Right.
that.
So it's like, don't even give me the tip. That's what
Exactly.
we're bringing it.
But I learned how to do auto gratuity on the. I learned like the manager's code, and I was just slapping.
That's where you learn it.
on everybody.
Applebee's,
Yeah.
you learn it's the gutter, and you learn
What-
the tricks.
What's
bro.
your guys' favorite like franchise food place to eat at? Like an Applebee's type.
I was a big Chili's guy for some reason, which is not very dissimilar from an Applebee's, but I did like
Spanish.
Chili's a little bit better. Chili's a little
Chili's
bit.
is a little step
Just
up.
a little bit step up.
And also, every single item in Applebee's goes through a microwave at some point. It's even like the steak. It's insane.
Nah,
dude.
you don't get steak. You get wings from Applebee's, the appetizer sampler.
You just get appetizers and
Yeah.
beer. Don't
Dude,
get
I used to
any
get that
burger. menu.
quesadilla burger they used
I
to
love
have.
Oh, that was good.
Dude, it was
Did it
like.
go through a microwave?
By the way, it was like because they would have to finish. Dude, it was 3,500 calories.
Yeah.
3,500
Yeah,
calories.
and they showed it.
I had one
Yeah.
last week. Swear to God.
I remember I would eat that after my shift and be like, I look like a fucking, like I just got shot with a
Yeah.
fucking sedative, dude. I would just be so out of it.
My favorite, don't make a joke, BJ's Brewhouse. You ever have that?
But you
No.
mentioned that before.
Because
Oh,
the
no, someone-
Pazuki,
Where's BJ? What's a-
BJ's is a. I thought it was just BJ's.
like the
Costco
wholesale.
BJ's.
Oh,
BJ's
is-
is like a franchise place that's mostly on the West Coast and stuff. Like anytime I'm on the
I don't know.
road,
I've heard about
dude, I go to a beach. There's one in I think there's one in Long Island actually.
really?
There's like a couple out here. It's like in and out. How like
Yeah.
they're like scattered,
Yeah.
but they're massive on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And they have Pazookies. You know Pazookies? They're like the little pizza cookies that come on a skillet,
Mm.
and they warm them up and they put the ice cream on top.
Pizza
Oh
cookie?
yeah.
Yeah, like a warm chocolate chip
Kind of
cookie.
like a cast iron cookie.
yes.
Like a cast iron cookie.
Oh, okay, but
But
not like pizza.
No
and
pizza.
stuff
Yeah.
like
No,
that.
no,
Okay,
no.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna pizza
yeah,
too. I was
yeah.
like, at first I thought you were talking about
Never heard
appetizers.
of a Pazooki?
No, not
Oh.
now. I've heard of like cast iron cookies or like
It's that. but,
yeah, sizzling cookie meltdown.
Yeah. But
In Applebee's, they used to put the
Sizzling
mashed.
cookie, no?
Yeah.
They used to put the mashed potato
Enough about
in
my
a
Tuesday
bag,
night.
yeah.
microwave it, and then I worked at one of Yonkers and Applebee's. They would bring you your steak. They would take the bag and unveil it, and the
Yep.
mashed potato would come out, and people would be like, "Oh fuck yeah,
Yeah.
broccoli, all that stuff." The guy who
All
hired
pre-portioned, all
all
in
of it.
bags.
the guy who hired me robbed the place with a shotgun a week later. Yep. And it
That
was wild,
rules.
dude. Yonkers, shout out Yonkers, Cross County, Applebee's.
Damn, bro.
Yard House, do you like Yard House?
Yard houses
I
aren't
don't know if
bad.
I've had that.
Yard House
I
not
never had Texas Roadhouse.
I've had
Yard
it.
house is like one of those like
I never had Olive Garden.
never. I think I've been to Olive Garden one time in my life. I've also been to Outback Steakhouse one time in my life. Like all these.
What
things.
ethnicity are you?
I'm Irish, and then like a little like on my mom's side, she's a mix, so I'm like German,
Mix of all the
Czech,
white
just
stuff.
all the whites. Yeah.
But you just went to Italy.
yeah. That's second time.
Was it with your wife?
I went with
You have
my
kids?
Yeah, I have one kid, one
really?
2-year-old. So I brought him and my wife's whole family. Her grandmother like came here from Italy, so she's like second generation. But she we went to Salerno, we met her family and stuff, and then we also went up. Like we did Florence and Rome and all that other stuff. And she had family up there. It was crazy because her family spoke zero English. So I was doing ChatGPT, the conversation mode, and be like, I'm with someone who speaks no English, or we speak no Italian, and they were just having a conversation, and it was wild because
Did it work?
yeah, it wasn't bad because her my wife's grandmother left like during World War II, and then so she had a sister she like never saw ever again, and like her grandmother passed away, but the sister's still alive. Like they just went. They would talk on the phone every week or whatever, but she never came back, and she never came to America. So it's this weird thing of being like, I can't imagine having a sibling leaving them and then just never seeing them ever again. That's crazy.
Yeah. My great grandfather was a prisoner of war from Sicily in Africa for like 15 years
Oh shit.
during World War II. African American.
And he likes those Africans.
I gotta hand it to the Italians. They have done such a great PR marketing job of like because I'm
World
getting
War II?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting real into World
think
War
about
II,
it.
and it's so wild that they were like
Nazis.
They immediately were like Hitler, like they were all about Hitler, and then they saw the tide of the war turning, and then they just slowly did the Homer Simpson being like, you know what?
Yep.
America's pretty cool. The Allies, all right, like we're gonna actually fuck over the Axis. It was insane how pro Hitler they were,
But that's why.
but no one talks about it.
But
Ever.
who just said that though? But that's why they're like we're never gonna have a military.
Yeah,
Like no one's ever gonna they're fine with that. Like they've accepted that their place in the world of just like being nice to go eat.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because they have that's like a bad history.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, like they're never gonna have
An uprising. They already had what a great empire they had for like they're like we ran the world for like 2,000 years.
I am obsessed with these fucking TikToks where you're like POV of waking up in
Like Pompeii or whatever,
or like
and,
the plague.
Yeah,
Bro, pull these things
these
up.
AI things.
Yo, it is. I've watched a million of them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I just saw the Pompeii one.
Yeah,
Bro, I saw Jesus.
and then the
Waking up as Jesus. That one's crazy.
just floating.
Waking up in heaven. And now people are doing their own. Yeah, there's heaven. Do you have TikTok on there or no? I don't know if I have TikTok.
How could there be also just a created heaven? Like
Yeah, like is someone like some nerd kid like making these?
Yeah,
or?
I think they're all AI because a lot of them are like AI like made and stuff. That Pompeii one's nuts because you see they're like having a good day, everything's
like
cool, then they're
bread.
like, uh-oh. Yeah.
Dude, I saw one for 9/11. They have one for every disaster that's happening. Like,
Oh, they don't need to do that for 9/11. You're like, that already is
watch on
footage.
on TV.
Yeah. I know so many people that, and I'm sure like you probably know people too that have, like we all probably do, just like they're supposed to go to work, miss the train, and
Yeah.
Here we go.
This is Pompeii.
Wow, that
list.
kid looks normal.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
love the I always love that in AI.
And look at the kid in the back too. It's just
it's just mush.
yeah.
He just has a deformity.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. Hello, baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like these people have perfect eyebrows and teeth.
Yeah.
Maybe the volcano got to look at her. That's why it popped. You know. All right.
So is this Pompeii?
Well, somebody
Yeah.
lost an arm back there.
Yeah.
Vibrant street.
By the way, the thing that like
Is that girl on a phone? Why is she on a phone?
iPhone 2. Remember Pompeii with the iPhone 2 and bagels?
AI fucked up there.
yeah.
Big time.
Here's the thing too that I feel like nobody. I mean, that's so funny.
Wait, does the fucking thing erupt?
Well, I think they're supposed to be like influencers, right? That's the whole point of this.
I tried
is,
to
like,
Oh,
they're
is this like a
pretending to
funny
be-
one?
Yeah, they're trying to be like it's like if I was an influencer because she's doing selfie mode, kind of. You know.
Oh no, this is
Oh,
stupid.
whoa.
This is I don't like this one.
Yeah.
I like the
Go
one-
to the part where they all die at the end. That's the part that we're looking for here.
Oh,
The tavern's
all the women
ambiance.
are just.
But here's the thing. When I watch these things, I get so
Wait,
weirded
That's
out.
the one we saw, right? The one to the
Go to the right.
top right is the one I saw.
Yeah, that
Guys
one.
making
The last day
bread.
of a citizen in Pompeii.
But this is
Yes,
AI. This
yes.
is AI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I thought.
You thought it was real footage?
No,
from-
I thought a guy reenacted it or something like one of those.
Well, even look at the hairs on his leg are not
Yeah.
real. You know, he's got weird pink toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is he wearing nail polish?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like a video game. It's great.
People are making their own real ones now, like a day waking up as like a comedian, and then you just like go like this.
That's
and-
hysterical.
Yeah.
Bread looks
Nice
good.
bread. That's pretty
Bread.
good. Pretty brick oven.
Yeah.
Dinner with the family.
And
And
then that
then-
just disappeared into that thing. And then it's so strange, man.
Little bathhouse.
Little
everybody's
bathhouse. Yeah.
No,
Okay, sex.
no sex. Whatever.
Little
Purple
fruit
apples.
market.
Yeah, whatever the fuck.
They're called
Oh,
plums.
gravy
Those
wine.
do exist.
Yummy gravy.
Yeah, is that cranberry sauce?
Yeah.
Oh, painting
Classic
pictures.
Nice. The whole wall moves.
Yeah.
Man, that was something. Oh, look at the way they're running.
Oh, demons.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Hereditary. This is
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Oh,
Whoa, hey, oh.
Yo.
Look at that person.
Terrifying.
Was that person from Mongolia?
What's next video? I mean, jeez.
What's next video? This is coming from Pakistan.
Dude, I'm so weird.
Wait, can you go to Jesus?
Oh, that's
No, this
crazy.
is stupid.
Where's
I don't know. Let's see. They're usually on the
Jerusalem?
right there.
Oh, that's
Uh,
30 CE, but that's
what's
That's the guy with the
CE?
Blake Lively, the lawsuit guy. That's not him. Oh, no. Thought it was that dude.
By the way, can we just talk about this? We don't appreciate this as much in society anymore, but isn't it cool to think about this is the best the world has ever smelled?
Oh yeah.
Like when you think about how fucking bad that
Oh,
market, the
yeah.
BO and the
Oh.
horse shit and
No-
the like the
no,
smell
no
of
plumbing.
Oh.
urine shit and just like all that open air market fruit is just
Yeah.
like with people who have never showered in their life besides in that bathhouse that they have sex in. It's crazy.
I guess the bathhouses were a big thing. They're in every AI video.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Is this supposed to be Jewish or I mean Jesus?
Inside a Jewish synagogue. Wait, he's not Jesus, though.
He has to be. He's
Oh, it's Jesus.
just doing
That's what you
selfies
see?
and stuff.
It's not my Jesus.
Yeah, why is he doing the Rizzler?
Okay, there you go.
I don't know.
yeah, this doesn't
Yeah, I'm obsessed
I
with
mean, that
these
guy was
things,
wearing
though.
shoes with laces. You know,
Another pool.
Another pool.
shalom, shalom.
shalom. I don't know. Forum. I mean, I don't know, man. I will say it is pretty sick when you
Oh.
go to Italy though, and you're like, it's amazing how great all of the food really
Yeah.
still is. And there's obviously
Yeah.
and just like being around
The history.
yeah, it is cool because we do that thing here where we're like, you know, that you go to Boston, you can see stuff that's like, I mean, this is like 400 years old.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and then you go to Italy or Greece, and you're like, this is from 2800
Yeah.
BC. And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, BC is wild.
Still,
Like-
things still
Well,
standing.
I read a stat that was like the Roman Empire. So the pyramids are as far away from the Roman Empire as the Roman Empire is to us.
Whoa.
so that's how
That's how far away, how long ago the
Yeah, they
the
said
pyramids was.
I love reading those things where they're like Cleopatra lived closer to when the iPhone was than
Yes.
to when the pyramids were
Yes,
constructed.
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I don't know
insane.
if these are real stats.
Yeah, I mean, I won't fact check it, but I'll say it with
All right.
confidence.
It's a cool.
on
I'm gonna
the
say it on a
podcast.
date. Yeah. Yeah.
Very little fact checking. That we need to-
History, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, guys. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys know that I am a advocate for therapy and for helping your mental health and going to therapy. And what makes BetterHelp great is that it's in the palm of your hand. It's all online. And finding a therapist could be tricky. You know, everyone has different things that they're dealing with. For me, I've always dealt with anxiety issues. So it's good to have somebody who's a professional that could help guide you, give you the tools you need to navigate this hard thing called life. But it could be for relationships, it could be for your family. Therapy is always a good move. And with BetterHelp, it makes it easy, convenient. And there are 30,000 credentialed therapists for you to choose from. They have a wide range of specialties. And a good part is that you could easily switch therapists at any time with no extra cost. Sometimes you might just not gel with somebody, but it's cool if you have the option to have this whole catalog of therapists. You know, I mean, it really opens it up to the whole world. Over 5 million people use BetterHelp, all right, worldwide. So it's definitely a good look. So write your story with BetterHelp, okay? Visit betterhelp.com/Vinny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/VINNY, and start your therapy journey today. Now back to the show. For Blake, speaking of, you brought up the Blake Lively thing.
Blake Lively.
Did you see it? People are pissed because they made a little joke about it at the SNL thing.
I thought that was a good. I thought it
was
why
funny
not?
on Ryan's
Why not?
part, but they did a deep dive in Blake Lively's reaction. She's like upset. Kevin Costner is like giving.
Where are we at in the thing?
I think she's played into that. It wasn't a surprise. She knew that was happening.
Yeah.
She was playing her
But
part.
where are we with the lawsuit?
Well,
wasn't it just like
$400 million defamation lawsuit in 2026?
who?
She's suing him for saying
for
that
$400 million?
for $400 million, right?
He's
oh no, the
countersuing?
opposite.
I thought it was. I think he was doing
he's
a
sued.
lawsuit to her.
She was doing a lawsuit first, and then he countersued and now made her look like the biggest villain ever.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
released like
I don't
text
know.
messages and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know exactly if anything else had been.
But then there were multiple
uncovered.
women saying that he was creepy and multiple times. I don't know. It's like
I didn't know where we were at.
it's kind of hard to. I mean, I guess like and I don't know much about this, but besides just reading like headlines. But what is her motivation to like say this guy is like a sexual deviant? Like, why would she come out and do all that?
I saw a theory
Illuminati.
that everybody she works with, she kind of slept with and fucked around with.
Mhm.
So she got close to him and was emailing him at like 2 a.m, like things about the movie, like we should do this, and then something about like I won't use teeth,
Mm.
like kind of like weird, like kind of sexual stuff. But was she just method acting? Was she in character? And evidently Ryan Reynolds kind of got wind of that. So then Ryan started showing up to set and he started like
He's
fixing
like,
notes.
He might be like the
scripts,
puppet master behind
something like
Yeah.
that. And I guess he was like, like, I don't know.
I
don't know. He doesn't want Blake Lively to be in the spotlight, they're saying. But she kind of found this as a moment to kind of like, I have no idea. I read all these different things.
I have no idea.
But she sent messages to the dude. But when I read it, it just seemed like she was excited about the movie. But it was a little bit like, are you method acting? Because she was like, I feel this way and we could get closer and I could show you
Did she
now.
say she was method acting?
No, not at all.
Method actress?
No, not at all. None of that. It's just me like,
I also
actor.
can't. I'm having a hard time thinking about anything else she's ever been in.
Just
Gossip Girl's the big one.
The Town.
Right. Oh, The Town.
Yeah.
Town, yeah.
And she doesn't do that much for me. Like she fit really well into like just the white trash Irish girl from Boston.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you fit that well into it, I don't know. It's just kind of like, I'm like, that's the most beautiful girl on earth. I don't know.
Also
like Jennifer Lawrence did that though with the Bradley Cooper, the Boston fight, the fighter movie, Silver Linings Playbook, right? Yeah. She played like poor mentally fucked up white trash too thing, and you're like, it's kind of hot. Like she's it's strange how that works.
I don't know, but $400 million, that's crazy.
But that's just for you know what I mean?
Shits and giggles. Yeah.
It's just for like the tabloid.
Optics of
you know what I mean?
Like
It's
the Johnny
yeah.
Depp thing.
Yeah.
Like he was suing her for money, but he just wanted.
But you got to be pretty confident to joke about it on SNL.
Yeah.
You know
what do you think
mean?
about that? Did you see any of the sketches?
The ones that
SNL 50.
I haven't seen all of them, but the ones that everyone I've seen so far, I've been like, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
The
It's
Radio
fun.
City Music Hall thing was wild.
What pissed me off is that nothing, like you have the biggest names ever and the reactions were so low because the fucking audience was just full of celebrities.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also it's a 3+ hour show. It's like I've been to SNL before and it's like that after that hour and a half.
You're done.
Because it's like, especially dress rehearsal, it's like a little longer. I think that's 2 hours. And even that, you're like, all right, what am I, you know what I mean? Like, but I guess it'd be different if each time you're like, oh, there's Bill Murray, whatever. But
it was like one of those things where, like, you ever see those movies where they have too many famous people in it?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know it's not going to be
Valentine's
good.
Day.
Yeah, that's exactly the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
That's kind of like what the SNL 50. I'm like, there's too many legends
celebrities
here.
Yeah.
I get uncomfortable around that many celebrities. So I know you can relate.
Yeah.
Dude, The Cellar last a couple
Yeah,
days
it is
ago
kind of
was
weird when you're around.
crazy.
Was it?
It was like it was one lineup it was like Steve Martin went on stage
really?
and then he brought Martin Short on stage and then they brought John Mulaney on stage and then
Were they doing sets?
They were basically running, I think, like a version of what they were going to do on the show.
Okay.
And then David Spade did a set, then Leslie Jones did a set, then Nate Bargatze did a set, then Chris Rock closed out the show.
God.
It was like insane. And then hanging out there was like Miles Teller and Woody Harrelson and Beck and Sacha Baron Cohen. It was like one of those things where you're going like, what is happening? It's just such. And Aziz was there, and they're all just hanging. Everyone's like co-mingling, and Woody's like stoned to the gills. It was a very cool. Like one of those moments where you go, boy, am I happy I got booked tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like around all of this.
Did the crowd have any idea? Or the crowd was
No,
like a regular crowd.
The crowd, by the way, like that show went longer. So the funniest part was not only was this crowd each being like, shut the fuck, like Steve Martin, and then it'd be like Martin Short, and then each one they just kept going more. And then Nate Bargatze, and then Chris Rock to close out. But the show went on so long, it was probably like a 2-hour show versus an hour and a half, that there was an audience, the next show, they were like waiting outside in the cold, in the street, just waiting for this show to empty out. And just everybody coming out from that show being like, that's the single greatest show. And everyone just furious coming into the show being like, we just, and like everyone, no one, I think like.
You guys came an hour earlier.
Yeah. The second show had, I think, Aziz and Marcelo on it. But it was, I mean, that's like that was like one of the craziest lineups I've ever seen.
Not to hate though, but I don't know, like were they doing stand up? Like, you know what I mean? Because it could have been like, I mean, of course that would have been
all of them were
your
doing
money's worth, but
except for I think Martin and Steve Martin and Martin Short were doing more just like their bantery thing, but the rest of them did sets.
That would be crazy to see Steve Martin do. I don't even know if he has an act.
I heard he was so cool, which is great because I've heard like not great. I've heard mixed things about him as a person. I've heard he can be like very cold, but
it's crazy like doing stand up how the Cellar is like these guys is like just playroom. Meanwhile, like to me, it's like the ultimate pinnacle of like stand up.
Yeah,
but to them, like, oh, let me run some material like in front of like just the biggest club ever.
And I think it's like locking up. It's also like you can't replace 40 years, 50 years of history, but it's also like, I think they lock up the phones and everything. But it is so funny that the longer you work there, I remember when I first started working there, the first time Chappelle came by, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I watched the whole, 45 minutes or whatever he was doing and everything. And then now it's like, I've seen him so many times that like when he comes, if I'm like walking into the room, I'm like, oh, whoa, Chappelle's there. And I just like, it's like, it's just like you get spoiled. You get
a couple of them these are real comics.
Right.
Like they do it. Like, I don't know, I would freak out with the people that you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, also like, it wasn't even if I saw I didn't get to like talk to Steve Martin or Martin Short, but they would have been like, your guys are like gods. You know what I mean? They would have been so crazy.
I saw Matt Richards posted like Madonna was there recently.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she did like 45 minutes of stand up with
Wait,
doing what?
Yeah,
dude,
you're fucking around.
I know. Yeah, she did like 45. I think she's doing like a one woman show.
Like, was it like a monologue or something?
I mean, it was just her going through notes trying to tell like funny stories, but I think a lot of it was like very like trauma bond, like some crazy. It wasn't like what you would expect it to be like. As a famous as Madonna, here's some wild fun stories from the last 40 years. It was kind of like talking about like sexual assault, just like heavy topics where you're like,
and was and like the comedy crowd is just like excusing it because it's Madonna.
I think so. I mean, I heard it.
They knew what they were getting into.
I heard it was like,
well, you're in a fucking comedy club, like you would think you're gonna start laughing.
Yeah, I heard it was like I heard it was a tough 45. But but again, people again, you're like, it's Madonna, even if she's not doing well, you're like, when else can you get the story of being like, by the way, I saw Madonna do 45 minutes of comedy, or whatever that was.
But she would have loved like for that to run it somewhere lower stakes than the Cellar. But she doesn't know. You know what I mean? People like, even my friends, they're like, oh, you do comedy? What do you do it at that basement on McDougal?
Right.
I mean, you mean like the hardest place to get into?
Yeah. Dude, that's the same with Long Island. Like Caroline's is what everyone used to know. They're like, you perform at Caroline's? They're doing like a bringer show when I first started there. Like,
I told everybody I was at Caroline's. It was a 4 p.m. show on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I had to bring 30 people to do it.
Wait, was it a high? I know, I remember Caroline's
was like the shit.
It was the shit. Yeah.
But it was like, people would do like weekends there, right?
Yeah, it was a headliner.
You don't start. You don't start there.
It was a headliner club, but it was.
I did the Cellar. I did a graduation show. From my class.
Oh, nice.
But no, I did used to do New Joke Night. It was weird. I used to do New Joke Night when I didn't do stand up. Now that I do stand up, I don't go to the Cellar because I don't know. I just like, I guess, learned my place.
Yeah.
But when you're again like a Madonna type of, I was Madonna basically,
right?
And I was like doing New Joke Night. They'd be like, come try whatever, and then like I'd go, and then like Louis C.K. would go up, Chris Rock would go up, and I'd be like, oh, I don't belong here. This is not.
Yeah.
But it was also freeing though because it's New Joke Night.
And there's
So it's
something-
like they're bombing too. So it's like
Yeah.
you do feel more comfortable to do it. I
But
don't
then
know.
when you see those guys perform, you're like, you know, when Louis or Spade or any of these guys go, and you're like Chris Rock, you see all these guys working, or Burr comes by, immediately you're like, well, I gotta go home and write. Like,
Yeah.
it really
Dude.
pushes you to a way that I think makes you. That's why I think like one of the benefits of the Cellar, and even like when the Stand does those shows and stuff, it's like it just drives you to want to be better, you know. Versus that's like when people go, why would you live in New York? You could do comedy anywhere now, and it's like it's true. But when you're around like great people, that's why everyone pays to live in San Francisco and all these tech hubs that are in tech. It's like you could do tech from anywhere, but
Yeah.
when you're around brilliant minds, it elevates everybody's game. You know?
Yeah.
I met Burr for the first time on Thursday. So that show was star-studded. It was Marcello, Bergazzi. Burr came at the very end. Like, we had no idea. I'm ready
Did
to like,
he crush?
he fucking destroyed.
But was it
I was gonna
new?
cry when I met him.
Was it new though? Because like
I've
usually
never heard any of that
Wouldn't
stuff.
he be running?
Yeah, I think he was running some shit. I've never met Burr. Since I've been emceeing at the Stand, I've always missed a night when Burr came by or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was there. I was like, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to look in his eyes. Like, I'm just going to be cool. He was the nicest guy.
He's so chill.
He was
Yeah.
so chill, and he destroyed, and his angles were like shit that I'm not used to seeing,
Mm.
you know, because I'm like kind of, you know, I'm like dirty and a little bit more like, fuck
He's like
everybody.
more genius. Like,
yeah, he's more like genius and smart, and he did it, and I was like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I was like, I have to go home and fucking, but it was awesome to see that, man.
Dude, the first time I like met him was at the during the pandemic when New York Comedy Club had like a penthouse comedy club. You remember that? It was like they had like an outdoor seating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's at like 20 people. And they were like, you want to come host this show for Burr because he wants to like practice his, he was gonna do his first SNL monologue or whatever. And so I was like on this show with him, and when we hung out in between shows talking, he's just such a normal, but he's also he'll just immediately get into arguments with you. Anybody like he likes the back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah.
or
I noticed.
whatever.
I always see that on podcasts.
Yeah.
he like loves
He's
fighting.
yeah, but he's just he's like a pretty down to earth.
So you got 2 fucking haircuts, dude?
Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You're like, dude, with my wife.
Yeah.
I hate that when someone's so good at roasting and you're just sitting there like,
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
You gotta take it. You gotta take it.
what do I mean to you right now?
Taking the hit is
I-
huge.
I like to whenever I have a world famous hilarious comedian, I'm serious.
Feeney, baby.
And Mike Figs, but no, I'm kidding. Any like what's like your worst bombing story? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, for clearly.
Like not just like an open mic, like
no,
an
this
actual
isn't even.
real.
I don't even have to think about it for a second
Hell
because
yeah.
I'm sweating just thinking.
Oh,
I get
hell
hot
yeah.
just thinking about it, dude. I was all right. So I was like maybe less than 2 years into comedy for sure. I was at this club that doesn't exist anymore called Ha, and it was in Times Square, and it was just like classic, like tourist trap club kind of a thing.
Which became LOL, right? Is that the same?
Yeah,
one?
well, that was like the third iteration. Like Ha moved a couple times, and then that
Okay.
last iteration became LOL, which then
Okay.
became another. But this was like this big. You walk downstairs, there was this big spiral staircase, and they had 3 showrooms and then like a dueling pianos room. So it would be great when you're when you're a year in and you get to just do 3 spots without
Mhm.
moving and stuff. So I was trying to get into this club because I knew a lot of comics that worked there. It was like Aziz got started there. It was pretty wild. But I was doing my audition set there, and I was supposed to do 7 minutes. And this it was like a Tuesday at like 11:30 at night. It was there was probably like 80 people, and it was like a half full room, and the crowd was just like. It was all just essentially like black people from the Bronx. I'm talking like comedically long fingernails, you know what I mean? Like this kind of thing. And I'm dressed. I'm like, I think I was a server at that point. I'm like, I think I'm working at Applebee's at that point. I'm wearing like an ill-fitting like Gap t-shirt, and my hair looks like fucking Justin Bieber, and it's awful. So I go on stage and like
Like a little twink.
Yeah, dude. It was, and I was like
But you
so
were
skinny.
non-slip shoes,
And
like shoes for cruise.
I like still never had any sort of like facial, like I didn't
Yeah,
even have like
a
pretend,
stubble.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I go on stage, and I remember the first joke, the first like word out of my mouth. I like finished my first sentence, and the guy went, "Thank you, next," and he just started clapping me off. Like, and he was actually like the perfect heckler because they all like were eating it up. They smelled blood in the water, and then so I tried to go at the guy. So I'm like, all right, man, like, what do you do? And he was the perfect heckler because he didn't fucking respond. Which, by the way, don't do this if you're going to come to the show. Yeah. But like, the worst heckler is the one that like says shit, and then you're like, all right, man. And then anytime you ask them a question, they're just silent, and you're they don't even give you rope to hang them with it.
Right.
And so I'd be like, well, what do you do, man? And he wouldn't say. He would just sit there like this and just watch me. And then after like 2 or 3 questions, you're like, all right, I gotta do something else. So I start doing other jokes, dude. I was wearing I remember this so clearly. I was wearing like a baby blue t-shirt. It was like a V-neck, and it was like
just keep getting gayer.
Yeah, it was blue. Yeah, and it was like navy blue by the time I was sweating. I was sweating so much, and each joke was bombing. And then the guy who was the host was flirting with some girl from the last show. I was supposed to do 7 minutes. They left me on stage for 21 minutes, dude.
In the worst set of your life.
And when I tell you, I was bombing from the first 30 seconds, and I never not bombed. And the whole show was just like, joke, bomb to silence. Try to go crowd work. No one gives me anything. Bomb a joke to silence. Crowd work done it. And after 1 minutes, the guy walks back in. He lights me, and I'm like, guess what, everybody? I'm finally leaving. This has been a show, and I'll never see any of you again. And they gave me a sarcastic standing ovation as I left. They gave me a fucking standing ovation. And so I go right to the bathroom. I'm like throwing water on my face. I'd never had a sweat like that. I get out of the show, and the host comes up to me, and he was like, dude,
you got a standing ovation?
He's like, I've never seen anybody get a standing ovation here. He's like, we're getting you in here. And I started getting booked there immediately after that. Dude.
A win's a win.
A win's a win. But yeah, it was to this day, I get hot thinking about it.
That's the best. No, because people at home, especially my audience, like they're seeing comedy specials on YouTube. It's just like everything is funny, this and that, but that's the real side of comedy.
It's brutal. I also did the thing. I don't know if you have time. Very quickly. I did this place, the Village Lantern. That's
I like. Not to cut you off, but my favorite is, and not that you have to say this, but I love when like even professional comedians, like a Burr or someone, like he'll bomb somewhere that's like a corporate gig or something that's just not conducive, and it's just like everybody still deals with it.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's like now it's like if I bomb, it's like I can bomb in a way that's fun for me and like, you know, and make it fun kind of a thing. But back then it's like when you have no chops. I was in the basement of this place, the Village Lantern, which everybody, so like Schultz and Akash and all of us kind of like started together, and we would do these barked in shows. And it was a show that was running like so long, and it started so late. There was maybe 7 people in the crowd, and on this little tiny room, and they had like rocks glasses with candles in them, and there was this one dude who literally, I mean, he was like Terry Crews, like this giant black guy just sitting there. And the host was on stage. He's not even in comedy anymore. This like Boston comedian, this nerdy white guy. And he goes on stage, and his first joke was about how like Benjamin Franklin owned slaves. It wasn't like it wasn't like anything against racism. It was more just like, isn't this a fun fact kind of thing? And the guy took a rocks glass with the candle in it and fucking threw it at the stage. And it hit like the brick wall, like right next to the kid's ear. And the hot candle wax went like coated the front row. And immediately he was like, what was that? And the guy had a plate of chicken wings, and he started throwing them one by one at the comic. And he was like, smarten up. And the kid's just like, sir, please don't, ow. And he's doing that. And then it took like way too long for security to physically remove the guy because he was bigger than security. And this guy gets out, and I'm not kidding when I say this host was like crying. I mean, he had like tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
he was so new, and he was sat there in silence. This is the first 30 seconds of the show, okay? and he just is sitting there in silence. There's women like picking candle wax out of their hair, and he just goes, "I'm so sorry about that, everybody. Your first comic, Mike Feeney." And then just walked off stage. And I was like, what, dude? Like, you're not gonna even like do another try? That's crazy, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those were some of the fun ones.
I just saw John Carlo posted like a clip that he was at Uncle Vinny's or whatever, and he was there the year before, and there was a girl up before him, like one of his openers.
Ariel Elias.
You saw that?
Yeah, when she got that was a very viral thing when she got the White Claw thrown at her head.
Bro, who would throw a fucking White Claw at a fucking?
If it would have hit her too, because it was a tall boy.
Yeah.
It was a tall boy of that.
No, that's like some like Snooki getting punched in the face shit.
Yeah,
I think you would snap like that and throw a fucking thing at some girl. she's a comedian. Like,
yeah, she was hammered, and I think she it was a woman who threw it.
Oh, it was a woman. That
she
makes
threw it,
more sense.
But she threw it, and she because I think she was like Ariel was doing like a joke about Trump, and she just disagreed with it and was just like, I fucking threw the thing. But to Ariel's, not only did she get a great viral clip out of it, but she also leveraged that into getting. She got on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
She tweeted it. She leveraged
John Marco said he was like, if I would have known, I would have had someone throw one at me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for coming today. This was hilarious.
Thanks for having me.
What are you plugging?
Instagram, TikTok, all that. I am Mike Feeney. YouTube.com/Mike Feeney Comedy. Got 2 comedy specials on there. MikeFeeneyComedy.com for tour dates. I'll be all over in the next couple months. So, get tickets there.
Hell yeah. Mike Figs?
Yeah, at Comic Mike Figs. Check out, go on X.com. I got my new show there. It's a preview. Check it out if you like it. Subscribe at Comic Mike Figs.
What is it?
Fig Talk. It's a
okay.
But I started putting it on X.
I'm like,
no. Just personal
now?
project.
Yeah.
No. Check it out.
All right. Well, guys, this camera, Pat. All right. Thank you. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing. See you next week. Something went wrong. Peace.
What's up, guys? If you like the episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. We are building this thing from the ground up, so we need your help, and hopefully we can make this really big one day. Love you.